Welcome to the Brittani Starr Show.
Conversations with indie authors.
There
Okay,
you are.
there I am. Okay.
Yay. Oh, that's awesome. What's in your background?
I call this my literary booze room. I made it to look like a bar. I got some of the old bar stuff that I've had throughout the years. And like I used to make like during COVID, there was a contest to make drink videos. And so I had made up a bunch of bottles and I don't know, put them on a shelf. And, like I said, this is where I do all my interviews and I'll do some dramatic reading, stuff like that in here too.
Oh, I love that. So do you do dramatic readings of your own books?
Oh, my own books. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And it's
awesome. How many books have you written now?
just the one, as part of a
Okay.
trilogy. I have written the other two. I'm editing them now, going through that
Okay.
process. But yeah, I've written the one and I got it published. I actually self-published it. So and that came out back in March.
Oh, congratulations.
Ah,
Did you so and you have the other two that you're in the process of getting out. Do you have an expected time?
so the second book, I'm hoping to have it out April, May of next year. From the writing side, I'm almost there. It's more of a matter of like having the artwork done. I commission an artist to do the cover, and then I have maps in there, and I have another artist that does that for me. The third book, hopefully the following year. That's kind of the goal. Now that does need a lot of work in terms of the editing and whatever else. So, and life tends to dictate how much time I have to get that sort of stuff done. But the second book for sure. I mean, I can't imagine it'd be later than June.
Okay. Well, when you're not writing, it sounds like you're doing a lot of that. When you're not writing, what are you doing? What are your favorite things to do on the side?
Man, I work a lot, especially being in restaurants right now. There's still the shortage of workers in restaurants. So there's tons of hours to work, and I'm kind of scooping those up as I can get them, partly because that's how I'm funding the book. Um, but then I'm a big baseball guy. So during baseball season, I play a lot of fantasy baseball. So I listen to a lot of baseball games, do a lot of research on baseball. I work out. I love doing work around my yard. I'm into flower gardening. So I try to take care of my flower gardens and stuff like that. And that's in the summertime. Now I'm in Chicago. So right now I really try not to go outside unless I have to.
That makes sense. How is it really cold there right now?
Actually, it's kind of nice for December. We're in the 40s, which isn't bad, and last week, 2 weeks, about 10 days ago, and it was in the 20s. It gave us a taste of what's to come, and that's when it's brutal. The 40s, man, I'm not going to complain about the 40s in December. I'll tell you that.
That's what's happening here normally. So I'm up in the mountains in Northeast Washington State, and
Okay.
normally we're covered in snow. It's like we have
Okay.
feet of snow. It's almost all melted off because it's like in the 40s and raining.
Oh, okay.
Idea. So you have this cool video on YouTube that kind of explains your book a little bit. Did you put that together yourself or?
Is it the one? There's a couple of videos. Was it an interview or was it no, okay, no. My publisher did that. Part of the package that I purchased, they created a video to put on a website that apparently directors and producers use. And so they did that as part of my package. And then, yeah, it got posted on YouTube as well, which was great. And I actually, of all the things my publishers have done, that's probably my favorite.
That was pretty cool. So you said you self-published, but then you're saying a publisher. So how does that work? There are like, what are they called? Independent publishers. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. So Exhivorous is the publishing company that I use, and the way it is, when you self-publish, basically what that means is you're paying to publish the book, as opposed to having someone pay you to publish your book. So they put it all together, they bind it, they do the formatting to make it look like a book, so to speak. And then, they offer it for sale on their website, but also Amazon, Barnes and Noble, that sort of stuff. And they have a lot of other packages, marketing packages, stuff like that. I wouldn't say some of that has worked out very well, but, they do offer other services. They also offer editing. I did have them edit it for me too. Now, put that in perspective, it costs 1.3 cents per word. So when there's 100,000 words, it adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. I'm very glad I did it. That was very, very much money well spent.
Mhm. I'd say across the board, every time I talk to anybody in the industry whatsoever, everybody's like, get an editor. It is worth the
Oh yeah,
cost.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
So for, because I have a lot of self-published authors on here, most of them are going through Amazon directly,
Okay.
KDP. So what, I don't know, you probably don't know because you didn't go that way, but
No,
can
no.
you tell us about the process of hiring this, independent publisher?
Well, so I had a couple being a bartender, I know a lot of people and I talk to a lot of people. And I had a couple people who come in that are kind of regulars that had self-published and they recommended them. And so, I just kind of went to their website and called them up. And the process, you submit the book, they kind of read it to make sure it meets their standards. So you're not, I don't know, publishing, you know, uh Nazi stuff or something like that. You know what I mean? And or I assume anything too graphic. I don't know, but ultimately they make sure it meets their standards, and then you start going through the process through them. And there's packages for $1,000. That was the lowest package. They publish it on Barnes and Noble, and they publish it on Amazon, and then they do all the legal work, so the copywriting, the Library of Congress, all that sort of stuff, and then they only offer it in the Kindle and the paperback. But for 2,500, that was the next step up. Then they offer it as a hardback, and they offer some of their marketing services with that. Now the packages go all the way up to like $8,000, where it's the whole ride for you or whatever. And then there's a lot more marketing involved, and there's more of there's more artwork and formatting stuff options, I should say, available to you than whatever else. Now, to warn you, they give you the hard sell on a lot of this sort of stuff. And that's where it's kind of gotten frustrating to work with them. To be honest with you, for the second book, I might just go through Amazon directly. I figure I'll cross that bridge when I get done with the writing part, and get through the holidays really, and have the time to kind of look into that. What have the other authors said about that?
On KDP?
Yeah.
Well, they love the control and that the cost is obviously much less.
Okay.
What everyone agrees upon, even people that go through KDP, is that they still hire an editor. Find an editor
Yeah.
regardless,
Okay.
because you want it to look good. But you can
Yeah.
go through, like Fiverr or something to find, the
Yeah.
cover, and so you can do it because KDP, it doesn't cost you anything to, upload
So
the book. Yeah,
that's
so.
what I thought. Yeah.
But you have to know what you're doing with with the cover, like, because it's the front and back and the binder,
Mm-hmm.
and so you have
Yeah.
to have the right size. But you can do hardcover, paperback, and Kindle.
Now,
So
have they ever told you how much it costs to purchase it off of them then? Like it,
yes, so you get author copies.
okay.
Once it's up there and they've gone through their process of approving it, so then you get author copies, and it depends on how big the book is, how many pages or what have you.
Oh, okay.
I think their minimum, I feel like it was 100 pages last I did it, and that it costs it prices go up all the time. It used to be around $3 and now it's around
Oh,
420, I think.
that's nothing. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so you can order as many of those as you want,
Okay.
of the
All right.
author copies. Yeah. And you can keep
Okay.
ordering them. Like you can not get them and you can go back and, like, if you revise your book or something, you can do a revision to your book and upload it, or you can just upload an entirely new revised edition or what have you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's good to do. Yeah. The
And they have
more I,
advertising through Amazon. Like you can pay them and they will monthly, however much you want to put in for,
oh, okay. All
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really kicking around. I always say being a bartender, the complaints flow this way instead of that way. But there's been some very frustrating things with the publisher in terms of it made me go, I might be better off just skipping them entirely. What about the legal stuff then, like the Library of Congress and the copywriting and all that?
Okay, so that's the part. But whenever you're doing it yourself, you have to go and do all of that.
Oh,
So that's what you're the difference. You're paying for them to do the legwork like that for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
And when you have to do all that yourself, that you can
Okay.
go and buy, what is it? goodness, I can't remember what it's called right now. The little ISBN.
Okay.
You can buy those in bulk, and then you get them cheaper the more you buy at a time.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and so, like Ingram Spark, if you go through there, they will put it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all these other platforms. If you, I publish through them, and they also offer the ISBN. But Amazon will give you their ISBN, but then there was something that was involved with that, and I feel like it was like you can't put it up on other platforms. I think that's what I think is what it was.
Oh, okay.
Like other, yeah.
All right.
So
All right. Well, that's all the stuff I'm considering. I appreciate the information, though.
yeah, I talked to a lot of self-published authors.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I gather lots of stuff. So can you tell me, what do you think is the, like with being a bartender? I mean, you get to know a lot of diverse people, a lot of personalities, especially the more someone drinks, the more interesting they might become.
Oh, yeah.
How has this played into your books? And, how has this helped you being an author?
Well, the easiest answer or the simplest answer I can give you is a lot of the characters in my book come from my regulars at the bar. In fact, I warn everybody, be careful. If you tell me a good enough story, it might end up in a book someday. And like there's a character in this book his name's Rags. And the way the book's kind of set up is that it starts with a group of people in a bar during a tropical storm in 1785 in Kingston, Jamaica. And, they're all kind of shut in because of the storm. And this old sea captain walks in and starts kind of telling this story. And one of the regulars at the bar is a guy named Rags. And Rags is Rags. Rags is based on, I say, my very first regular in the industry, which was 35 years ago now. And, I mean, I've had people read the book and that knew him and go, wow, man, it's actually scary. I feel like I'm sitting down next to him while he's there. And it's a lot of that. A lot of times when I need a character, I'll kind of think to myself, okay, who does this character remind me of? And then, their mannerisms, the way that they speak, their vocal inflections, how they use their hands or if they're how their disposition is. And so it makes it easier to create them into a character in the book. And so, that's where bartending has probably influenced me the most, is just giving me a trove of people to pull upon in terms of inspiration and for characters. But, the other thing about it is it gives me a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories that are being told in the book that while they've been tailored to fit the story of the book, I still heard them from other people here and there and go, wow, man, that's a good story. I got to somehow incorporate that, And so, and it's just, the beautiful thing about bartending is you're right. You meet a lot of people. And in meeting a lot of people, I gain a lot of their experience without actually having to live it. And so therefore, it gives me a lot of, very rich source of just elements that I can put into my book, and again, stories, being a bartender is being a storyteller. The older I get, the more I say that, the less I want to make drinks and the more I want to tell stories. But it's also listening to stories too. And, as I listen to stories, it gives me other stories to pass on other times. And so that's kind of where it goes with being a writer as well. If you get good at telling stories, well, then you're going to get better at being a writer because the stories are what you're writing about.
That's absolutely true. That's awesome. I love that. I was talking to someone else, another author, about that. I'm like, I absolutely take from every person that I meet. I might make their character more into a very dramatic, version of them, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's taken from someone I know.
Mm-hmm. Hemingway, like he always said, I remember reading an interview with him where he said, I live life for about 6 months and then I write about it. And I live life for 6 months and I write about it. And that's kind of, that's some of the best advice I've ever gotten about writing is write what you know, write the stories that you know. And it makes it much easier then because you know the context, the timeline, the way the events unfold. And so it's just a matter of changing the little details here and there to make them fictionals, so to speak, but make them very real. They're very real that way and very relatable.
I think that is the magic of it, like taking a little bit of both reality and fantasy and
Hmm.
making it into. I think that's how I grew up, but I think that's how what books do for us is they make life a lot more magical. So once we're finished reading it, we're still looking through those glasses and see the world
Yeah,
as more magical.
it's the way we learn.
It's amazing. So can you tell us something that not many people know about you?
Uh, well, it's hard to being a bartender. My life's kind of an open book, so I would have to kind of think about that. You know, like I said, a lot of people don't know that I really like flower gardening. Like it's kind of my thing. I really take a lot of pride in putting the entire thing together, where you're not just playing a flower here or playing a flower there because it looks cool. You're creating a scene. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of work, and especially I always say doing tulips. You know, I love tulips, but you plant them in the fall, and you got to dig deep and you got to put them in there and then you cover them up and you don't see nothing. So there's no reward until the spring, which might be 4, 5, 6 months later. And then finally you start seeing them come up and then you see them bloom. And it's just such a, I don't know, it's a wonderful feeling for me. It's like a feeling of life, but it's like that. You know, I say I got clematis vines. I have daylilies. I have, some of my favorite ones are the Johnny jump ups, the little purple and gold and white violas, but when you see it all come together and you see them all blooming at once, it's just a very good, like it's refreshing or something. And then, the other thing though, a lot of people who know me know this, but I'm a big volleyball guy. And that's because my youngest son got into volleyball when he was in seventh grade. And, back when I was a kid, volleyball wasn't available for boys. It was a girl sport. You didn't have competitive volleyball. And the game had changed dramatically from when I played it in gym class to when he started playing it in school. And as a result, it was a wonderful thing because I didn't know the rules. I didn't know the changes, so I couldn't be on the bench or in the stands going, "Why'd you do this? Or why'd you do that?" I couldn't be critical. I had to learn it. There's times I'd say something to him. He goes, "Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not my position," or whatever else. And so and it really kind of made it's a bonding experience between the both of us because we kind of grew with volleyball together. And now he plays in college and he wants to coach it. And I can tell you, I truly love the sport in a way that, where I say I'm a baseball guy, I love volleyball much better than I do baseball. And it's still kind of an amateur sport. There's still that sort of amateur excitement about it to where the kids are out there, they're playing out with their hearts and they're not playing for anything else. And a lot of people that know me, like I say, they're going to know about my son and that, but a lot of people in this world don't know that sort of element about me or just how much I truly enjoy watching the game.
That's awesome. So can you tell us if anyone connected with you today and connected with your story, can you tell us where we can find you online?
Well, I have a Facebook, Instagram, and X page called Literary Booze. Every month I highlight an author on there. This month it's John Milton. I do quotes, facts about their lives, stuff like that. But I also put dramatic readings and, I'll post interviews on there and all that sort of things too. So I use it as a platform to promote the book, but you can always reach out to me on Literary Booze too. If you want to DM me, I do have people that'll send me messages looking for writing advice. Sometimes just kind of general life advice. Being a bartender, I do get ask for a lot of advice, but I'm always happy to respond as quickly as I can and just kind of stay connected with the people who follow my page.
Nice. That's awesome. I had a great time meeting you and getting to know you today. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor.
The Zarlequan Universe. May this holiday season be as bright and as beautiful as you are.